where you will gain a deeper understanding of the purpose and essence of opening your eyes. This is your chance to enhance self-awareness and personal growth with a shift in perception that provides a fresh outlook on life. Embrace the journey from consciousness to superconsciousness. Coming Live by Barrett Kunyan.
Well, hello, and this is lovely Julie. Hi, Julie.
Hi.
It's a real pleasure, honor to be in your company again, and we've had some connections before prior to this one, but this is our first live together. So, welcome to the Bioactivation platform. And today we came across the title of our discussion will be frequency healing over the rainbow and beyond. So before we get onto that, if you're okay with it, I just wanted to, whether you'd be comfortable, just to give a relatively brief introduction as to who you are and what you've been doing in the last couple of years. You know, just go with the flow and just let any listeners out there, which I'm sure there'll be a few, what your energy is all about, and in some of your experiences up to date. So I'll hand the mic to you.
Oh, I would
And
love to.
welcome.
Thank you so much, Barrett, for having me. We've had some beautiful powwows since meeting in March and connecting our energy. So many new things come up. So we'll see where today takes us. But hello, everybody. I am Julie Schindler. I live on the west coast of the United States in Washington State. I am a mom of two, adulting duo, and I've been a wife of 25 years. And as you can see, I have a story, and I'll share a little bit about that with it. But I am also an Akashic Reiki master and a horizontal healer, and that has come over the last few years. 10 years ago, a box fell on my head and crushed my cervical spine. And so I have been living horizontally for over a decade. And about 4 or 5 years ago, life started to change. I was on palliative care and I was kind of really planning for the end. And it was on end of life care. There really wasn't a succession plan off of it. But I started to receive these pops of color while I was in the darkness. When I had to sign my DNR, when I had to start planning for my own funeral to save pain for my family, these bright pops of color would come into my subconscious mind and show me a pathway out of pain. And so we started on this journey as I started following each pop of color. Those pops of color have got me off of palliative care, have led me out of the darkness, and helped me to see that I have the ability to heal from the inside out, all using color. And my life didn't have color in it before. It was a lot of different masks that I wore in my career before this injury happened. And so I just kind of went with it. I learned how to put my rainbow on repeat. And for the last 3 or 4 years, we have been able to transition our entire medical journey into color, and to be able to get off palliative care and stop taking any pain medications, learning how to color chronic pain, and a whole bunch of other sips and tricks to healing from really the inside, outside, upside, and downside, all by using the frequency and the vibration that color can bring into our lives. So I have been a world server for the last 3 years, helping to give the voice back to children and teaching children how to color their own pain and their own emotions. And we have built some beautiful platforms in the process. And all of that is just a purpose to my pillow and allowing me to be vertical in this world a little bit more than living horizontal for so many years.
Well, that's pretty amazing story you have there, Julie, and so glad that you've recovering so incredibly well. And I was going to say, in reference to the fact that with the colors, are there specific colors that address specific ailments in terms of when you are consciously aware applying certain colors? Is it something? If you can run a little bit of the mechanics, how it works, how the energy flows with the colors.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
how
So
do
what
how
it first started in darkness. I was writing my eulogy, and I received this bright blue color that would come through as I was writing my eulogy, and it was when it came through, it was tell them now, don't wait. And as I looked back at everything that I had written, it was really a list of gratitude. And it showed me in that moment that gratitude elevates truth. And if I was to give this gratitude out to all of my loved ones and friends and family who, I was planning for them to come to this celebration of life for me after I was gone, why wait to tell them those things in a past tense? Why not tell them in the present? And that was the first pop of color. And it was so bright blue. And it really, gratitude for me has always now been blue ever since then. So I wasn't on social media at the time. I had been away from it for most of my injury. And this was 6 years into my injury. I had just had a heart attack, and that was kind of what put a spiral. I was 42 when I had a heart attack, and that took our decline spiral really fast. And so I took that eulogy and I put it onto Facebook as a gratitude letter to all those who had been there for me throughout my injury and my family, my friends, and really just gave it back out to the world. And with that, once I finally pushed send, then I started to receive another pop of color. And those pops of colors were just pathways to follow. So the next one came in red, and it showed me my inner child, and that I have this trash can. We all have a trash can of traumas and insecurities. And this trash can holds everything that's ever happened to us in our lives. Any shame or blame, if you've had sexual trauma as a child, divorce, anything that's happened to you in your life that you didn't know how to heal, I would just throw it in a trash can. And so this pop of color in red showed me my inner child, and I was able to meet her and to understand that these things that happened to us weren't our fault, but it's now our responsibility to go back and change the colors of them, to get grateful for those experiences and to upcycle all of that trauma. And so we followed red for a really long time, and red was always dark and dingy, and it was the hardest parts of my trash can. But every time we would go back, and I would able to listen to my inner child and find out really what was she thinking at that moment. And our trash can started really that I can remember at 4 years old with a divorce in our family, and then followed sexual trauma and abuse. And then by 17, we closed off our trash can because we didn't know how to fix or heal anything in it. And it was the only way we were able to move forward. So my inner child said, when you close this off, you promised me you would come back and you would come back and heal it. I just didn't know that. And it took a box falling on my head that really gave me the time. So we went through red and we upcycled red, and we finally see that red it's our root chakra. So it's our family ties, it's our relationships to everyone and everything. And so that really led us on an extended journey of just going through every color that would pop up. And some were orange, and some were yellow, and some were purple. We just followed the pathway. And now that we know more about it, we know that blue is a great way for healing. So if I'm in a moment that needs healing, we get grateful first, and our gratitude elevates truth is our get. And we really follow those colors every single day in what we wear, what we listen to, what we surround ourselves with, based on what we're working on, that color, bringing it in. So like today it's yellow. It's personal power. It's surrounding ourselves, whether it's what we're drinking, what we're eating, what we're wearing. We know that we wanted to call in that strength of our personal power and our I am presence to be here for today. And that's really by putting your rainbow on repeat, you get to pull in those colors as you need them throughout your own journey.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's very beautiful. Yeah, I mean, I can relate to that, and my day always begins with thank you and gratitude. It's the only place to be as far as I'm concerned, you know. But in reference to the rainbow, is this like some kind of activation? Is it a full activation of some sort?
It is.
Um, it
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Well,
Um,
so what it started was a forgiveness frequency. And so
mm,
3 years ago, when we were 2 years into palliative care, we were sitting in a doctor's office, and in my wheelchair, I was 260 pounds at the time. And the doctors were telling me that I would need to have a feeding tube because I wasn't getting enough nutrients with all of the palliative care and all of the opiates and pain meds. There wasn't enough nutrients going in, and I was losing my ability to chew and swallow. And that was my biggest fear. My biggest fear was losing my voice. And so the forgiveness frequency really started that month. It was the month of March of 2020, right when the world was shutting down. Our world was changing. We knew we didn't want to have a feeding tube. We knew that we wanted a way off of palliative care. And that's really when my guide stepped in, and my spirit guide said, you can do this. Like this time is going to be different. We are here to support you, which whatever you decide. And so forgiveness for me, all the way from the very beginning, runs in a frequency of an infinity loop. And within that infinity loop has all of these colors running through it. And so when I would put myself into that frequency and really talk to my spirit guides and ask them through meditation, through grounding outside barefoot to the ground, or just even just breathing, would sit there and just, breathing in air, my spirit guides would start to really show me how I can do this and give me the frequencies and the pathways out of pain. And they would give me the color that I would need to put my rainbow on repeat. So it started as a jam session. So it would show me, I would sit within that energy or in that meditation, and it would show me how to journal out all of the information that I was receiving from the inside, from my inner child, or my pain. I would journal it out. Then I would affirm it through affirmations. I am these things, but how do I move beyond them? And then it would be meditation and mirror work, where it would have me sit in front of the mirror and talk about chronic pain and get it all out. So I was no longer a victim of it. It was me. And I live in chronic pain, but how do I not become it? And so each of these jam sessions would give me another pathway, and they were all in color. So as I go through all of these journeys, for me, it comes in color. And for others, it could be different.
yeah.
I just knew that when I received a color, my whole vision would change. And if it was green, I knew that I was needed to go into my heart space, or I would just follow it. And so this forgiveness frequency is what really started the rainbow repeats. And we were able to create a rainbow bridge from the divine mother and father and sit within it so we could find ways to heal. And then um, they would show us what to do and how to do yoga horizontally, or how to have a pillow party and celebrate and dance on your pillow when dancing isn't an opportunity for me, how to stand barefoot outside in the grass. And we surrendered. We did whatever came through, and we found healing in it. So we just kept going.
Wow, that's amazing. Absolutely amazing. And have you always been this sensitive? I mean, I always, when I'm in your company, I feel so centered in your presence. I mean, do you feel that, some of the incidences leading up, has that, ask a stupid question, but has that created this incredible I am presence, which I'm always feeling in you? And the other question I wanted to ask you, reference to the pain, if I may, do you still encompass some of that pain, or has it really, has it left you, on a very high percentage, or do you still have the occasional which comes and goes a little bit? I mean, it's incredible how well you have recovered from what you've been sharing with us, but is it still some elements need still recovering, or do you feel, I don't know,
Yeah.
that's a,
I'll go to the first question. Was I always like this? No.
no,
I was completely disassociated from all of my feelings. So when we closed off our trash can under the northern lights in Alaska at 17, we had just had a pregnancy and a teen pregnancy and loss. And we
right,
didn't know what to do with ourselves. So when we closed off our trash can, we kind of got a new trash can. And this one started off a new life for us. So at 19, I started my career in the fashion industry, and I was within the fashion industry for 15 years. And I wore masks. I never really talked about my childhood. I colored myself with fashion and clothes and accessories and color that way. But I was a heart-centered leader, and I worked for a heart-centered company that was based in Seattle. And so I got to really move up within the company and stand in these leadership roles. Within my heart was always open, but I wasn't open to anyone else. And I never even would go back to my childhood about anything that happened to me. And so about 15 years in, and a year before this injury happened, I left my career in search of joy. I had this just in this feeling on the inside, like something had to change, but I didn't know what it was. I was disassociated from all emotion whatsoever. And it was my son who had had a back surgery about a year prior to me leaving my job. And I got to spend almost 12 weeks with him in recovery. And those 12 weeks away from my career showed me that there was more to life, that I was leaving 8 weeks of vacation on the table because I couldn't bear to leave. I felt like my career was so important, and life changed for me. And so when I left the job and I spent a year away from not working at all, my kids and I, my family, we traveled the world, and we went to different places, and we got to experience things in search of joy. And it was a year later where this company, that was another company based in Seattle in the international coffee business, had asked me if I would come and work for them. And it was kind of a dream opportunity where my kids were going to be graduating from high school within 4 years. My husband and I had just built a home. We would be able to travel the world together. And it was my third day on the job that the box fell and crushed my cervical spine. And that was life telling me that that wasn't meant to be, and that maybe I was meant for something different. And those first 6 years of this injury were really dark. And it was really dark for me. My subconscious mind was just gray. And I would go there just to numb out. It was nothingness in my subconscious mind. There was no color. And with my injury, because I have permanent holes within, I have two things. I have permanent holes within my spinal cord. So every morning, my spinal cord has to drain out completely.
right,
And so for 3
right,
hours, I sit still, like this, sitting up with a pillow behind me. And I have to catch the spinal drain that comes out of my nose, and it'll take hours, and it gets really violent and very painful. And so this with that, I only get a few hours up and then I pass out from pain. So and this was a constant for 10 years. I would get 45 minutes up, or if I was eating, I would then have to be down right afterwards. And so it was just this life of up and down. And when it comes to chronic pain, I still have chronic pain. I just now have a whole new toolkit and treasure box of how to really to manage it. And I know that bodies can't hold inflammation on bodies that are energetically grounded. And so every morning, I didn't have the strength to walk the 12 steps to the grass before. But in the last 3 years, we've been able to find that strength. And maybe the first time, it was like 6 steps and I'd sit in a chair. And now I can walk 12 steps and have 2 stairs, 2 steps on a stair to get to the grass. And so we started learning these little tricks to start off every morning at sunrise. There is higher energy healing that comes through the sun. So being barefoot outside for the first 10 or 15 minutes, or however long I can stand, is what we've been doing every single day for the past couple of years. And that's really helped. But I still pass out from pain every day. My husband washes my hair. He has for the last 7 years. All my meals are made for me because I don't have the strength to help and eat. 80% of all of my food comes through a straw. I have to drink all my nutrients. But life is better now. When I started to put my rainbow on repeat, my subconscious mind changed. It went from the dark and dreary to whatever I decided to put in it. So it was those affirmations. It was water. It was unicorns and, rainbows. Whatever it was that was making a difference for me is what we kind of filled our subconscious mind with. And that's what we get when we go into Pain Peaks now. I think we have some back. When we go into Pain Peaks now, it is colorful. We get to astral travel and we get to help the collective and we get to do a lot more than we did before.
Yeah, no, it's I'm actually very taken by your presence because from like you were saying, like 6 years and the trauma that was associated with that, and possibly the questions at the beginning you probably were asking, why me? And then suddenly, as you said, you began to raise your frequency with the red, the blue. For me, it's funny because for me, I see like the violet quite a healing in color, but they all have a grand purpose, in terms of, like you said, it covers different areas of your root chakras.
I didn't have any connection to my spirit guides I had walked away from all religion at 17. So I didn't even refer to God. I walked away from it all and kind of shut that down. And it wasn't until my father-in-law passed away. So 5 years ago, my father-in-law passed away at the beginning of 2018. And when he died, he never left me. And where I thought it was because I was close to heaven. My heart attack was just a couple months later. So I thought I was dying. And then that's the reason I could speak to him after he died. And my family thought I literally was going crazy because all of his children, he had 7 kids. He died suddenly and we didn't have everything we needed. We didn't know where his will was. His house, he lived alone. He was a World War II vet. And everything was kind of booby trapped. And so my husband would take me over to his house. And the few days that prior to his death, I would sit with him in the recovery center We knew that he probably wasn't going to make it. His prostate cancer had come back in full force. And I had a notebook with me, and I had my pillow, and I would be laying down in the bed beside him, and I would just be asking him, okay, Dad, how do we find this? How do we find this? And my husband and I met on a blind date when I was 17. So we had been together, and my father-in-law had been a father figure for me since my teenage years. And so the only thing I got from him during those few days prior to his death was stories. He would tell me all of his life stories. And there were clues within those stories that would then help us in the future. But after he passed away, he would come to me every day. I would take my pillow over to his house. I would lay on the ground on a blanket or on his bed. And then he would tell me where I would find all these things. And then my husband would come after work, and then we would go on a scavenger hunt. Okay, we're looking for black gloves. And we would go searching. And when we found the black gloves, we found his satchel from the war that had all his medals and stuff in it, and things that we probably would have thrown away or, not taken a second look at. We were able to gather all of the things that were important to him in his life for us to be able to really say goodbye to him in a special way. And that transition of meeting my father-in-law on a spiritual realm opened the door for a flood of doors for all of my spirit guides to come through, and the Divine Mother and Father, just to really guide me. But then I had a heart attack, and then I was on palliative care for 2 years. So part of me was like, well, again, what is my purpose? If
Yeah.
you're now talking to me and you're here to help me, why do I have to go through this darkness again? And I now see why. But at the time, no, I thought, they were failing me in a sense, for having me go through the darkness again. But through darkness, there's always light, and there's beautiful experiences that we gained from that. And I now have a whole team of spirit guides that are here to help me and guide me through each day.
Oh, bless, bless, bless. What do you feel, in terms of like human beings by nature? I mean, what's the ultimate questions that people are always seeking to understand the essence of what is God, or who is God, where is God, what is the God energy, and our close association with what we call God, and also reference to heaven and an opposing polarity, if we call it hell. For me personally, and I'd like your take on this. For me, everything is a state of mind, and then you become a procreator of what that mindset is. So if heaven, you create heaven because that's in your vessel, you visualize it and you breathe it and you walk it and you become it. But what I mean, today I was talking to a wonderful, he's become a friend now as well, and a brother. He's always asking the 6 base questions: what, where, when, how, and why. And why we all and life exists. I mean, what is the grand purpose of our journey here? Whether we call it the free density or Gaia, Mother Earth, what would you say is the ultimate goal? Um,
Yeah.
what,
Yeah, I'll go back to that first question, but I'm going to allow my heart to speak when it comes to the vibration of heaven or
yeah,
hell, in that in general. My light language is just talking behind the scenes. So I'm going to let it talk a little bit, and then I'll try to decipher a little bit about what it's sharing. Um, so my biggest question is, why am I still here? It was a still, because there were so many times that I was within death's reach and I
Yes.
shouldn't have been here. So why am I still here? And that question was so big for me. And when I would ask it, I would get that, well, you are here to help others. And it was that was the main purpose of it. There was a vision that I had received where I died in a sense where I had written it out or voiced it out the next morning. My hands don't work very well, so everything I do on social media is through my voice. And I had voiced it out that I died last night. And within that death, I was shown me being risen up in I would consider an elevator. And I was within the elevator. There were so many other light-bodied beings that were dressed to the nines, that they just had beautiful headdresses and beautiful, colorful clothes. We were all barefoot. And as the doors opened to this big auditorium, it seemed, everyone that I ever knew that had left this realm was there, and it was a celebration, and I was surrounded by so much love. And as I walked to the window, I could look down and see this car accident that I was in, that I had died within, and my car was hit by a train. And I could see my family, and I could see their grief and everything that they were going to. And I could hear a voice behind me calling my name. And I remember tears running down my cheeks as I looked out the window at my family. But then I turned around and I was engulfed in love. And this was prior to me coming back or even saying the word God. This was just source energy for me. And it took a lot of upcycling my trash can to get to the root of religion that was dark, the darker colors in my trash can. And as I was engulfed in this love and this warmth, I was really shown my entire life flash before my eyes. And it was everything that I'd ever done, said, experienced, miracles that happened, the trauma, the dark. It came in this flashes of kind of light going back and forth. And then at the very end of it, I was asked, do you want to go back? And I was racing to get back to the next life, to get back to help, because I got to see I had all these tools and I had all these codes and colors and keys that I could do it better the next time. And I remember myself begging to go back. And that experience has really stayed with me, because they're really in that same field. There was different levels of vibration. So I don't necessarily say that there's a heaven or a hell. There is a level of vibration. Those who are at a lower level of vibration, they live at a lower level on this trajectory, which we may consider hell for them, because they are living in darkness. And those that have a higher vibrational and higher frequency and vibration, they are living in their own heaven. That you really, and when I figured it out, it was nothing external. There was nowhere I could go. There was no religion. There was no healing modality that was going to give me those answers. I had to go within. And I was a busy-minded person. I had never sat on a yoga mat or done meditation prior to the last 5 years. It was go, go, go. And my mind, that's just how my mind would work. Well, that was a part of trauma. And that was my way out of trauma, is just thinking about something else. And so when I finally went within, that's where I found all the answers. And when you ask a question, you will receive an answer. And I didn't have books. I was just guided by my guides. I would sit within meditation. I would ask where I go when I pass out from pain. Can you show me where I go? and then they would show me where I go, and I'd never asked before. So I just really started following that process, that we all have the universe within us, and we are all intuitive. Every single human being on this planet. We just have to clear away the clutter and upcycle what we're holding on to. Because the more we can release pain and shame and blame and find our own forgiveness of self and forgive ourselves for holding on to it all, that's where each level you would rise. And every level I would rise, I would be in less pain. Something in my life would heal itself. And so I just kept going. The higher my vibration can be, I know that I can manage chronic pain. And the higher I can stay within a positive mindset and a heart, and keep my heart open and surrender, that I would live a life with less pain. And that was the whole goal of how do I decrease the pain so I can live within this world. When you go within, that's it. That's where all the answers are. I was guided to last year to the Akashic Records. And the Akashic Records are an etheric field within the quantum field that holds, just kind of like that dream. It holds everything that's ever happened to us, every thought, every experience, good, bad, or indifferent, is there within this field. And when I first went into the Akashic Records, I felt at home. I felt like I had this blue guide with me this whole time that sits right here on the right side of my chest, or the left side of my chest. And it would vibrate when I would get the right information. And when I went into the Akashic Records, that blue being, it was like family to me. And so I just started learning more about it. And when I realized that our past, so our past, present, and future within the Akash run simultaneously. So when I realized that the work I'm doing now in the present to heal my inner child changes the life of my past and her life as she's living it right now. And if I worked on the work doing in the work that I do right now, I can change what my future is going to look like because it's running simultaneously. So it was pretty eye-opening to see that when we take a moment to understand that we can make a change, that we don't have to be our past, and we don't have to always be looking for the future. If we live within the present and we do the work now within, all of the past, present, and future change, and you start to lessen the burden of your past, starts to decrease, and the narrative changes. And I look at my past now and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for those experiences. I've forgiven my abusers because I first found forgiveness within myself. And the forgiveness journey is about self-love, self-forgiveness, and gratitude. That's all that fuels that infinity loop, is loving yourself wholeheartedly in the human experience that you're in, your physical body, and then forgiving yourself for all the time that you've held on to the shame and blame, and traumas and insecurities, and then getting grateful for everything that's really ever happened and how to upcycle it into new colors.
That's really beautiful. That's really beautiful, and that really, really, really resonates with me as well. When one is very comfortable in themselves, they no longer need to look for a future version necessarily, or try to change anything, because the lessons that they've had, and or like what you went through this list of things, like forgiveness, and you kind of anchor yourself in that I am presence, and that is very empowering, isn't it? It's like you're now, it's not, you don't even try to heal anybody when you are in that zone of being harmonized and neutralized. You just be yourself, and anybody that comes in contact, they feel, because I could just sit with you and we don't have to talk. This is how in tune I am with your energy. It's like the talking is a byproduct. It's secondary, but the primary is that frequency that you're holding. And earlier you mentioned the word light codes. That kind of hit an interesting chord for me, because that's an area which is relatively fresh for me, with because I've heard it a few times, and what to do with it is light codes. That's really interesting, isn't it?
So for me, the light codes come within the light language that I receive.
Yeah.
So I've always had pops and clicks with my injury from day one. And the first like 3 years, I would tell the doctors, well, they kept saying it's pressure released around the hardware. So the reconstructive surgery that I have screws and a pivot ball hardware in my neck. And that's why my neck has to be within a neck brace, because it has to hold it steady, because I have so much damage on the spinal cord. And I've always had these pops and clicks. And the doctors, at some point, some of them were like, well, that's all in your head. Well, they started to come out, and then my family could hear them, and then the doctors could hear them. And I didn't know that every time I would go into a pain peak, these pops and clicks would just vibrate through my throat. And I now know they were healing me without me knowing. My family could hear it, but I was gone from the world. And so when I surrendered, so the biggest part of it, when I learned about the Akashic records, I learned from a beautiful soul about Reiki and how you can combine the Akashic records with Reiki. And so you are lifting yourselves beyond the physical realm and the mental realm and even the spiritual realm. You go into a quantum realm when you are in the Akashic records, and you bring in Reiki. So you bring in energy healing at the same time. And when I combined those two, it was like a key unlocking a code to a language that I didn't even know existed. And when I stepped into the light language and I surrendered, and I would hide it from people. I would pause my mic because I didn't want others to hear it. I didn't know that it would benefit others at the same time it's benefiting me. And so the light language is the quantum codes and keys that go beyond any language comprehension. It is literally talking from the divine father or mother directly to your I am presence, and they get to have a conversation. So every day when I go into a meditation, I open up my rainbow bridge, and I have a ton of spirit guides. But what I really have is the divine mother and the divine father. That is where my information comes. And my spirit guides are there to help me throughout the day, and they get to kind of help my I am presence. But it's really the divine father and the divine mother who want to wrap their arms around you. You are a child of God, and they want to make sure that you know how powerful you are. And so when you open that rainbow bridge and allow them to kind of have a three-way conversation, and only you surrender to your light language, you may not understand what's being shared, but it will come to you and through you throughout the day as you go forward. And we all have the ability, to just surrender and allow what is meant to come through us, whether it's our galactical family or it's the divine father and mother who want to speak to your heart. They're going to bypass your brain, they're going to bypass you, and they just want your heart to know how loved you are, what a big job you have. And you're on this earth right now helping the world ascend into a whole new earth. And that is a powerful, powerful mission that we're here to accomplish. but we are in our own ways a lot of the time. And so light language for me has been a way for me to surrender and just bypass the physical level and realm to go beyond over the rainbow.
Would you say there's a few light languages, or is it like one or two? Because I've heard a few, but they all sort of, it's from the divine, or is there different levels, higher, lower, or are they all the same?
I've always, from
on
all
top?
the experience that I've had, they're all different.
Okay.
But when I use my light language, that mine are pops and clicks. And so when I use mine and someone else is like, maybe they're singing or it's just a language that we don't even comprehend. They actually talked
Yeah.
with each other, and I'll be able to tap into that frequency of that other person. It could be different star systems. It could be, I know that a lot of the work that I do is from the Aurora family and network. And so that's the Northern Lights and the Aurora Lights. I know that that's why color is so important to me. But your home star or galactical realm, your quantum realm might be different. But when you speak, there's a language, a language within our breath that we're able to decipher that for each other, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. And so you could glance at a person, and then in a fairly short period of time, you'd be able to pick up, um, their soul purpose. You'd be able to pick up, possibly, what planet or constellation they're from, despite the fact that they might not be fully activated in terms of speaking a particular light language. Like in my case, for example, I'm not privy to quite far and communicate in terms of what you're doing at the moment with your clicks. And how did you describe it again? Your the way you're
Oh, pop.
communicating your light language. Yeah.
Yeah, mine
So
come through.
yeah. So it's a case of, do you have that knowing? So you'd anchor yourself, and this information will come to you, and then you relaying that to that individual, that soul, that will assist on their journey, right? Because people are looking for signs, certain signal, I say, to get them sort of activated, to becoming more conscious, observer and aware of ultimately self, and then becoming, um,
When we step into the Akashic
sorry,
records together and we channel that energy. So if you give me permission and you and I are, that's why I say powwow a lot, because this isn't about me. We all have the ability to read the Akashic records, and we all have an intuitive channel. So when we tap into that together and we combine our energy, that is when I become a conduit and I receive information that is coming through for your highest good. So
fantastic.
it will show me, I might see someone from a galactical family. For me, it comes in colors and it comes as a knowing. So I'll receive information and I will just know in the depths of my soul the truth of it. And I'll be able to share that through. Sometimes it's just light language. And maybe that person's not ready to hear the words, but their body is ready to receive the energetic language, and then it will come out for them at the right time. So it may not say, okay, you are from, the Andromedans, it may not come in through that. It may be a green bean for me. And I know kind of
Yeah.
association of where those green beans lie. And then it will come through in light language that's poured into you. And then your body will register what those codes and keys and colors mean to you Sometimes it'll be a lot of words. Other times it'll just be energy. Sometimes it'll give me names, like your grandmother's here or your grandfather's here, or it will be at a higher level and it's just their energy. You have a light being, that has a white beard. A lot of the Akashic for me, as the Akashic keepers that come through, have a long white beard, but they range in different colors that they vibrate. And so it just depends on the person, what they're ready for and what they're available to receive. And when we do Akashic Reiki, which I can do distance healing anywhere in the world, and when we tap into your Akashic records, or your Akash, your energy field, and Reiki, it will send me through and start to undo any blockages of energy blockages that are from your past lives, your present lives, and your future. So I get a lot of information when we're in those types of sessions of we might be even releasing your ancestral lineage of war or death or something that might be recycling in your life from gestational trauma. A lot of clearing happens in that field too. But yeah, when I get to sit with someone and I get their consent to powwow our energies together, the world is our oyster. That's what we can tap into.
Yeah. I mean, do you fancy doing a little something now, or another future session? Or, I mean, this was just a beautiful way of, introducing yourself as well. In reference to like what the guardianship of what by Activator is, what do you feel? Do you feel the purpose of this platform is, and me being next to it and inviting people, what do you feel the connectivity there is for the planet as a whole? Do you feel something coming through there to share with some listeners?
Yeah, my heart's going. My heart is going, so we're going to let it speak, and then I'll share with you information that's going to come through with your permission. And when we at the very end, as we start to wind down, I will take us through an Akashic Reiki rainbow session, and that will give anyone who is listening, past, present, or future, all they would need to do is give us their permission with a rainbow. They just need to put a rainbow emoji in the chat box, and that will open up this information in language for anyone who watches this this interview and this session. But yeah, there's a lot of good information coming through. So let me just tap in, and I'll be able to share that with you. So the bioactivator is really working with the grid lines of the new earth. So there you are energetically, especially with all of the guests that you are having on, and they're unique. It's kind of, they're filling in the ley lines. So I see crystals. I see energy that's being pulled from the sun directly into the earth through the bioactivator. It is a conduit. It's kind of a funnel, and it's really kind of pulling in all of the energy that is around us and funneling it directly into the earth. And so it shows me, I think we even talked about this before, but one of your biggest missions here is to really light up those ley lines and as a grid worker. So I see you, I don't know if when you're astral traveling or when you're sleeping, if you feel like you have a lot of experiences that you're coming in and out of body, because it's showing me that you are working as above, so below. And you are drawn to those who can activate that frequency of your funnel. And you kind of, when you're with them, they are filling in your ley lines. You're helping to fill in for the Divine Mother and Father, and you are helping alchemize that information to purify it. Because not everything that comes through you may resonate with, but you know that it has a purpose. And that's why you're drawn to have conversations with individual people. If that resonates for you.
Yes.
Let's see. The work we do with the earth and gardening, the growth, there's just a vibration of energy that is really in everything that you soil, every seed that you plant. But it's not only physically, it's the seeds that you're planting, like with GPMS, and you're helping to really, that is another energetic level of vibration that you're adding to your funnel, and you're creating a whole new world. And we've already we've stepped out of the 3D. We're in the 4D, 5D, and we are transitioning our earths. So we've already left one earth and we are on a new earth. Now our job is to light that earth up. And that's what the bioactivator is showing me that you are doing. But you're also, you're hitting frequencies through the earth, but you're also hitting it through the skies. And I'm thinking that's through the radio signals of the sound vibration, because all healing is frequency healing. When you are healing yourself, you are raising your vibration, you're raising your frequency, and you are creating a frequency of healing. So you are leveling yourself up when you are adding sound vibrations. And so I feel like this is, let me just ask though. It is. So it's the vibrations that you are creating with the radio station that you are putting those sound waves out in the up as well as below, which is pretty cool.
Yes.
Yeah. You have a big job.
And sometimes, what's that? So,
I said you have a big job ahead of you.
yes. Oh, so sometimes if the physical vessel, like the last couple of days, I've been feeling like quite a bit of tension on the base of the spine. I feel a little bit on the heavy side, especially on the left side. It's got this little bit of pulling to the left. That was quite interesting because I've not had those sort of feelings. It can be a bit of a spasm sometimes. So it's quite interesting transitions that are going on inside the physical body as well. Maybe there's a lot of realignment and raising the frequencies, so it's all good.
We have a
Yes.
lot of ascension symptoms coming through because every single day we are receiving this influx of energy, and we placed ourselves here on this earth to be a part of this ascension process, and we each have a different role to play. So as the energies are fluxing in from the sun, and we'll have solar flares, and we have all of the CMEs and all of that energy, we also have ascension energy coming through, and galactical energy coming through. In addition to Gaia is sending energy up from the ground. So we're getting it from every which way. Our main job is to flow through it, and to know that when we panic, like if we get a spasm in our back, or if the first thought is to go to the doctor, or those kind of the old way, we have to really ground ourselves into the energy and first ask, please remove all energy that is not mine. And I do this every single day. I do it if I I don't get to go out in public very often, but if you go to a grocery store, if you're even in the library, you go to a farmer's market, you're around anyone who comes within, I say, 8 feet around you.
Yes.
If you hold a higher vibration, you will be attracting their energy. So anytime that you leave one of those situations, or even like today, even if you're on social media, you have a lot of energy coming through towards you. So you get off Facebook or you get off social media, remove all energy that's not mine. And when you're feeling something different within your body, you want to make sure that, is it yours to carry, or are you carrying it for your son or your wife or your community? And so once you do that, you will be left with whatever is yours to carry. So if you're still feeling pressure in your lower abdominal area or in the bottom of your spine, well, maybe there's some work that you need to do within your root chakra. Maybe we need to ask, okay, so what needs to be cleared? Please show me what we're working on right now. And when you ask your guides, they will tell you. The hard part is that people don't necessarily want to hear what they have to say, and they dismiss it. So you have to, if you ask, you have to be prepared to accept whatever it is they're sharing with you, good, bad, or indifferent, and believe it. Believe it, to know that they wouldn't steer you wrong. So whatever you get after you ask, that's what you have to work with. And you have to surrender to really, truly find the pathways to healing or out of pain, whichever is coming towards you. But drinking lots of water. We're 80% water. Water holds vibration. It holds emotions. And it takes 11 minutes for your body to move water through you. So if you're feeling ascension symptoms, drink water. And within 11 minutes, that should have already processed through you or start the movement to flow it through.
Yes. No, that's wonderful. Thank you very much. Did you want to feel that you'd like to do some kind of activation?
I would love to I'll do a rainbow. I can do a rainbow connection, and we'll just do a kind of a cleanse, which would cleanse out any and all energy. I would love to find out just a little bit about, I know GPMS for both of us is on our heart, and GPMS is the Global People's Monetary System, and it is a worldwide referendum for change, but it's also divinely led. So it is the divine plan for humanity moving forward. And as we are all ascending, GPMS is our way out of pain for the whole world. And I know that Barrett and his wife have been really active within the GPMS community as of late. And they're learning a lot more about it, as I am. And I started with GPMS when I'm looking for a way out of pain for 100 children in Zambia. Part of a purpose to my pillow is a storyteller for children. And every Saturday we create a Saturday school of color for 100 children in Zambia. And for a year, it'll be a year this next weekend, we have been, we've done over 120 stories for the children, teaching them how to color pain. But when we were looking for ways out of pain for them, I was shown a community. I was shown an energetic community of what my children will be living in the near future. And it showed me that my older children would be coming back and on platforms like this and sharing their story out of pain. And it showed me that my children, our children in Zambia and our children across the world right now, they are the last generation that will hold any traumatic pain situations. So they're the last of that generation. So these children, any child coming before with GPMS will have a completely different life that they're going to be living. And I didn't know what GPMS was at that time. So I just saw the community, I saw the vibration and the energy, and I saw that my kids are going to be okay. I didn't know how to get the kids there. And then I met Rick Jewers and the GPMS community. And that was the vibration that I had felt and seen within the Akashic records. And I leaned in. I was like, okay, you are my way out of pain for the children. How do I help? How can I help? And so we signed up all 100 children and staff at the Selecha Orphanage in Zambia, Africa, to be part of our GPMS children. And I think we have some of the youngest ones, everywhere from 3 to 18, have been signed up. We read the consents to them out loud. We shared their freedoms with them. And then we asked the children to dream big. And what's their life going to look like on the new orphanage? And this land behind me, we've already purchased for them, but now we have to build it out. And with GPMS, every child, woman, and man, with the inception of it, will receive $10,000 a month. That's for everyone forever. And $10,000 a month per child out of 100 children, that's a lot of monetary funds that are going to be able to build out their forever home and forever school. And so I would love to know from you, Barrett, how has GPMS integrated within your life in the last few months?
Well, it's brought an amazing alignment in as far as like when I'm with people, I'm very conscious, aware of a lot of the pain that beings are going through in terms of the enslavement of having to work for money and even struggling to make ends meet, which a lot of, with all this hyperinflation and just the chaos of the level of manipulation that's behind the financial system. So for me, it was a breath of fresh air. For me, it was Lee Mudway that I came in contact first, and then through Lee, I was so privileged to share space with Rick Jewers. But it was powerful words like guardianship, and do no harm and do not impose on the freedom of others. This is very much embedded in the nucleus of its movement. So as far as I was concerned, there's nothing like it. So immediately it was a game changer for me. So my interaction with people and anything that came in contact, I was in very, very centered, so people were sort of looking at me, not that I was a villain before, or but like I said, it was a massive, massive game changer. And just being in the company of Lee, for me, Lee was the main attraction, to, if I can be extremely candid with you, Julie, because he's just a remarkable individual. I mean, it's just like he's so, if I can put it in these raw way of describing his energy, he has zero tolerance for bullshit. And that kind of I didn't know people like this existed, to be honest. And his journey, and to be so candid, to be so open source, you don't have to wear a mask, you be yourself, and then go through the process of releasing. And because when you, like we are, sharing space with authenticity, you ground yourself, and it releases some of the things that you're clinging on to. So I began to let go of some of the stuff that was embedded within me on a traumatic level, and a lot of it is from childhood. We hold on to it, and we don't realize how deep it is. And then once you start releasing it, you just feel so much lighter. So it's been a massive, thank you for asking that question, Julie. It's been a massive turnaround for me, my family, my community, our community, shall we say. And I feel the divisions that were in place has diminished. I see between the veil. I've got a whole new lens, new set of eyes, and I just engage differently. I was pretty sensitive before, but like I say, it's been a massive, massive game changer. It just raised the game really, really very, very high level. And I'm not trying to bring the system down. I don't need to do things like that. I'm just being myself, and people react in a certain way, and they feel very comfortable. Sometimes, the truth, the way it is, can trigger, of course, but that's part of the growth. And so, yeah, it truly is exciting. I'm really, really honored and excited to be part of this great instrument, and this referendum that's, like Rick was saying, that once we hit a certain threshold, which we're extremely close to, collectively, the energetic uh, planetary transition is going to be incredible, you know.
It does, and
So,
it releases the weight of the world from our shoulders.
mm,
Once
mm,
once I signed, I think it was July of last year, and it was like the weight of the world was lifted off my shoulders. I knew that whatever is going to happen within the political system, within the banking system, financial system is going to happen regardless. It is divinely led that way. And it's nothing that I have to worry about. That all I have to do
yeah,
is stay within the love and light and help others to see that there is a new way out of pain and there's a new world awaiting for us where we can live as one. Sovereignty was a big one, having our freedoms, and we all learned across the world in 2020 how quickly those freedoms can be taken away from us. And knowing
absolutely.
that we can all come together as a worldwide referendum for change, no matter what country you live within, or what systematic or political system or government that you are currently under, your voice matters with GPMS, and your
Yes.
children's voice matters. And we have 2 billion children in the world. If we were just to have every parent do the due diligence of allowing their children to have an opportunity at a new world, then we would already be there. And we
Yeah.
are so close to having the voice of the world that is going to be bigger than, I think it's 55,000 voices would give us as a community more voices than in all the governments worldwide combined. And that's huge.
Yeah.
We reach more than the Vatican, and the Vatican is considered its own. We are putting ourselves on the map to make change. And this isn't what I love about GPMS that is different from other freedom um, fighting initiatives is that GPMS, there isn't a 1%. There isn't, no one's getting rich off the backs of anyone else. That this is a equal community for all. And no matter where you live, no matter what type of poverty situation you're in, you will be receiving the same amount of monetary funds as your neighbor next door. And if you have 10 children, each one of your children will receive that same amount. If you have disabled parents, we see so many of our parents that are in retirement that are living off less than poverty amounts, that they can barely pay their own food and electricity and their own monetary needs. And that shouldn't be. And then we see all those parents that are working 60 hours a week or multiple jobs just to put food on their table or to have a roof over their heads. That all changes with GPMS. And it just takes 3 minutes of our time, and your energy changes. The weight of the world is gone, and you can live in hope. And I'm
Yeah.
really excited to change hope for the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so honored and to be part of this incredible instrument, and the connection of the purity of when we all come together as well. It's the brotherhood, the sisterhood. It's just awesome. Really, it's very uplifting, I'm just so excited, the world really deserves, and yeah, it's
Yeah.
uh, even my partner, she Katrina, I mean, she usually is quite skeptical, or she can be a bit of a pessimist when it comes to, but she was very, very taken by, because I feel that based on the evidence of, the heart and the impression that you're leaving everywhere is a testament in itself. Like I said earlier, it's a calibration, it's an alignment. You are it. So fundamentally, it's not a product. So that energetic presence in that, we could even say the I am, and ultimately the impression is love. And like I said, it's not imposing and not harming, and releasing and bringing that sovereignty into the very heart of the fabric of everything on
Yeah.
planet Earth.
And to know
Mm.
that it's the divine plan for us moving forward. And many can't see that, knowing that I have been able to see it within the Akash and to see it happening energetically as our world shifts, that it's such a knowing in my soul that this is it. This is the plan for all of humanity as we move forward. And having that knowing, and I feel that when you get a chance to speak with the team in Thailand, like they've already started implementing it. They didn't even wait for the votes. They said we could do this within our community right now, and they have over 19,000, almost 20,000 members within DPMS, and they've already started creating the monetary world, the free energy. If you live in the mountains and your heart is by the sea, you move to the sea, and the products, they're sharing their products amongst each other so no one goes without. And if you
Yeah,
want to learn how to grow bamboo, they teach you how to grow bamboo, and they give you the heirloom seeds to go with it. Like, they're putting into place what the world will view and be like in a very short amount of time, but they've already implemented it in their own communities, and it just blows my mind. I get so inspired by the Thailand team, brothers and sisters and children.
yeah, that's awesome, awesome. Yeah, so we've just come into the hour and 20, and I was feeling, how do you feel? And also, if you want to do some kind of healing for the planet in general, maybe it's a good way of wrapping our beautiful connection today.
I would love
Uh,
that.
so, but I leave it to your, when you're ready to. I mean,
Okay. So we're gonna go into an Akashic Reiki session. So within the room that I have here in our healing center, this is also our story time for the kids, and you'll see all of our emotion spots behind me as we color emotions. But I have a candle lit of white
yes,
light with two flames. So we're going to open up our front channel, and we're also going to open up the back channel.
okay,
All you have to do, and all I ask for you to do, is just find a comfortable space. If you are driving or if you are working with machinery, to take a break. If you can, go outside and listen to this and have your feet grounded within the earth. That is a great opportunity. But I have our white candle lit for the light we're going to be pulling in above. And then I have a red candle with the three flame that is right here on my right hand side. And that will be representing our root chakra. And it's really going to triangle us and funnel that energy down into the Divine Mother. And so as we pull in the energy, I'm going to ask you to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And that is just going to be flowing, pulling that white light from above our heads And I'm going to walk you through what we're going to do because I'm going to need your assistance at one point. So once we've pulled the white light all the way through and we've connected it to the Divine Mother and Gaia, then I'm going to ask you to open up your back channel. And this channel is our chakra number 9. So we have our 7th chakra, which is our crown, our 8th chakra, which is currently opening up for many on the ascension path, which is in our heart, the higher heart space. The 9th chakra is at the base of your skull, and it opens up your spinal cord channel. And it is a white, kind of bluish light. For me, it's cooler than the front channel is pretty warm and golden. The back side is more of a blue. It comes to me in kind of a peacock color as it's flowing through, but it's more of a crystalline color. And so I'm going to give you instructions when our channels are fully open to do butterfly kisses. And the butterfly kisses are going to open up the back channel. And this is how I've been divinely instructed to open this channel. But you have to be fully connected from the Divine Father to the Divine Mother on the front side. And then when you're there, we can open up the back side. So when I ask you to do butterfly kisses, you're going to breathe in through the nose. You're going to hold your breath and you're going to roll your eyes backwards. So like butterfly kisses, but inside your head. And it's going to be pushing that air from the front third eye all the way back to that spinal cord channel. We will do this in a set of 3. And as we open that up, my light language is going to give your body more information of how to get that channel open. And once that channel opens, you may feel dizzy or woozy, or maybe you'll feel like an egg is being cracked on the top of your head. That is all okay. I will be holding you within this Reiki hug. And for me, hugs are healing, universally guided. So as I wrap you in this hug, we will be able to then go through and quickly clear all of the energy channels. And then when we're done, you will feel the Divine Mother place her hands upon your feet and flow a rainbow of color all the way through you and give you a beautiful shower. So that's kind of the process we're going to be going through. And once I'm in the channel, it will just come as it goes. And then when we're done, I will let you know. Awesome. So peaceful spot for you and the kids. If you are watching this and you would like to have your energy replicated from the Akashic Records and the Akashic Reiki, just place a rainbow or some type of emoji in the chat box. So past, present, and future, no matter when you're watching this, it just gives me permission energetically to tap in with you and to allow this healing to penetrate your etheric fields. Perfect. Here we go. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Keep breathing in through the nose. Pull that white light from above our heads. The beautiful central sun, the Divine Father. As we breathe it into our crown chakra, it's flowing down through our forehead, our eyes. We start to relax our eye sockets. Flowing that white light down through our ears, releasing any tension in the ear canal, opening us to sound waves and expansion. Breathe in through the nose. Relax into the breath within the mouth and the throat. Breathe in through the nose And as you're breathing out, when you're finished or before, try to swallow that energy down through the throat. That white, beautiful light flowing through. Releasing the jaw, relaxing the tongue, flowing down the throat, flowing over the shoulders, down the arms, the elbows, the forearms, white light leading into the hands, filling up every finger, relaxing the muscles in our hands and our arms, dropping our shoulders. The weight of the world is leaving from us. As the white light fills our shoulder cavity, down through the ribs, rushing over our organs, our lungs, surrounding our heart, relaxing that space. Take a deep breath to expand the lungs into relaxation. The white light is going through around our stomach. It starts to spin in our solar plex around our belly button into a very soft flow of spinning light, going down and down and down through the stomach, through the hips, through the groin area, flowing down our legs, wrapping around our knees, through our calves, hugging our ankles, and filling up each one of our toes with light. As we breathe in the white light from above, we pull it down through the front channel, flowing it down through the root of our feet, our heels, down into the soil, to the layers of sediment, all the way into Gaia and the Divine Mother. As it swirls around in a spiral down into the Divine Mother, it wraps around in a grounding cord. One more deep breath in, the white light from above flowing all the way through in quick succession down through your feet, through a spiral into Gaia. Our front channel is open. Now we are going to breathe in the white light from above, and we are going to do the 3 breaths of butterfly kisses to open up the spinal cord channel in the back of our 9th chakra. In through the nose, butterfly kiss back. Breathe out through the mouth. Breathe in through the nose, butterfly kisses back. We are so close. One more big breath in, pushing that air back around the crown, down the backside of your spinal cord. We are there. flowing that energy down the spinal cord. The white bluish light from above our heads, our second channel, is opening. You may feel pressure in your lower back as that energy is being pushed down into Gaia through your tailbone. With both channels open, we will be flowing colored energy down through each of the chakras on the front and the back channel. If you feel like you have lost the energetic connection with the spinal cord, that's okay. You can breathe in through the butterfly kisses to gain it back, or sit within the energy I am already within to send the distance healing and Reiki. I will be sending violet light to our crown chakra. You are a powerful presence to the Prime Creator and the Divine Mother. Surrendering this space to us at this time will allow this light to flow. You are a magical being of light. Sending Reiki through the crown chakra, the pineal gland, and the forehead chakra. We have violets and indigo blues starting to swirl around and around and around. As we move lower into the throat chakra, and the serene blue and sky blues and sea blues of color are coming through. Awakening you to speak your truth. Swirling around with the violets and indigos, the sky and light blues are swirling down through the throat chakra into the top of the shoulder blades. Releasing the weight of the world from the backside of the shoulders, allowing your wings space to expand. We have some blockages here as a collective, so we're going to work on this space a little bit more. Imagine the front side of your chest as a chest of armor, and on these armor is a whole bunch of colorful crystals. And on the back side of your chest, imagine your wings. They could be dragon wings, unicorns, fairies, whichever comes to you first. Allowing your shoulder blades to relax. Make any adjustments that are needed. The breastplate on the front with the crystalline jewels are all different colors, and each one is going to light up. blue, yellow, red is in the center, green, and pink. Ooh, ooh. Oh, great job, everybody. We were able to remove the last of the weight of the world from the shoulders. And now we are stepping into sending energy to the high heart. And this color is a hot pink. For some, there's a lotus flower within this area that starts to blossom. For others, it's expansion or tightness around the lungs and rib cage of the upper chest. It comes through as a hot pink or magenta color. For many in the collective, the high heart is a new chakra that's open, so it's pretty tender, and it is there's a youthfulness and a childlikeness that's coming through this area. Beautiful. As we flow the energy down, we have purples, violets, our indigos, our sky blues, our magenta pinks, and we are flowing into the open heart of the green. And I will be sending Reiki to the heart space. Pulling out any daggers that are left, heartache, hurt, grief. This is going to be intense. We're going to be going from the back and the front, wrapping your heart in a pretty intense hug. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah. The space opens up, and just like a cavern opening more space within the heart, we removed any darker blockages of pain, first loves, forever loves, missed opportunities. The green turns to a lime green as it starts to merge with the solar plex chakra at the bottom of the heart, the top of the stomach, right above the belly button, where the Iron Man light or I am presence is divinely lit, a threefold flame. It's a little bit different for everyone. Maybe a lotus flower. Whichever comes to you is perfect. You may feel a pulsating in the middle of your spine. We are sending energy to that space to light up from the back to the front, kind of similar to a solar flash, pulsating of light being sent to this area. Bright gold and yellows are radiating out in waves and waves and waves and waves. Breathing that light back into center. Cleansing the I am presence of any debris or avatars of ego. Oh, that's a big one. We're going to do that one again. We have a little bit more work to do on the ego, asking it to be our cheerleader and thanking it for keeping us safe. Our ego has protected us for so many years. It now gets to take a vacation. We're wrapping our ego in a hug and just really celebrating it for getting us this far and allowing it to be a cheerleader and a voice within. But not the voice. Beautiful. We are surrounded by flashes of gold and yellow and really flames of burning, burning desire to become more, to step forward into our authentic selves. The sacral chakra is shining bright in the orange and lighting this flame within our solar plex chakra, allowing us to ignite the creativity that we have withheld, allowing us to stand within our personal power, to represent who we are authentically, to fire, to remove the mask, the flame of transmutation. Has been lit within. As our colors swirl around in the lime greens, the golden yellows into the burnt oranges and the fire flames of our sacral chakra, we will be sending energy healing to the sacral chakra. Just below the belly button, at the top of our hips, our love handles. Oh, beautiful. They're getting a hug. That's asking us to really love our physical bodies while we step through this and flow through the human experience. To stand firmly rooted in who we are. You may feel pressure in the lower spine area as we transition from the sacral chakra into the root chakra. There's a lot of energy on the backside that's radiating from the root chakra at the moment. So we're going to spend a little time here just wrapping a hug around our hips, releasing this root chakra. And this holds gestational trauma, lineage trauma, any blockages, any darkness, any lower vibrations, any addictions are all kind of being held within this area and being shown. So we're going to kind of shake it out, and I will go into a full body alchemy to release any energy that needs to be expelled at this time. You're doing so good. Just stay with me just a few minutes more. There's a lot to be released and given back to the Divine Father and Mother to alchemize and to transmute back into purity and light. We have reds and crimsons. We have a little bit of earth and dirt. There is the burnt orange at the top. There's a heaviness that's being expelled from the backside of the spinal cord at the tailbone straight down into Gaia. You may feel some pressure as we release this back. We're releasing wound trauma, both male and female, gestational, disassociations, and fears. A lot of fear and a lot of addiction are going down the drain for transmutation. One more intense hug, and we should be able to expel this out, front and the back. Hoo-wah. If you feel the need to move your spine a little bit, rock it back and forth just to make sure there's nothing left. We're going to clear out any additional debris. As the Divine Mother receives to purify and transmute all of these blocked energies, past, present, and future lives, she places her hands upon the bottom of your feet. With her loving touch, her strength and compassion, grace, and unconditional love, she wraps your feet in a twirl and circle of color. Magenta, red, orange, yellow, gold, green, pink, serene blue, indigo, and violet, surrounded by white light. As she releases these colors up into your light body being, if you pull up on your stomach muscles, you will feel the colors pulsating, radiating through you, twirling around inside, outside, upside, and down. And a rainbow cleanse rushes through you, from your toes to your ankles, to your calves, to your knees, through your upper thighs, your hips, your wombs, your stomach, up through your belly button, up through your waist, your bottom of the ribs, circling, penetrating, pulsating through, wrapping around your heart, your rib cages, flowing in and out around your organs, your lungs, your shoulder blades, running down your arms, your elbows, your forearms, your hands. The colors of the rainbow wrap you in a hug as they circulate around your throat, your jaw, running through your mouth, your nose, your cheeks, your eyes, your forehead, your crown, and pouring out the top. As the colors flow out and around, the magentas and reds and orange and yellow and green and gold and pink and light blue, indigo and violet, you are feeling in the 8 feet around you, covering your outside and your inside, allowing this bright lights to flow into a sphere of love, circulating and pulsating around your being of light. When you feel that you have filled up your space, we will ask the Divine Mother to release her hands from our feet, and the Divine Father to close the bridge from above. So we stand within this rainbow sphere of unconditional light and love. This is ours to do with what we wish. We can send this love out within our homes, within our communities, within our state, our country. We can give back to Gaia. We can send this to the skies above. You are filled with the almighty divine Father and Mother's love. As you come back into your rainbow sphere, shaking out your hands, opening up your eyes. You can stay in it as long as you like. If you have questions for the Divine Father and Mother, you may ask those in this space and time. If you listen to this back, it will take you right back to where you were to clear out any additional blockages that you might have. This is your gift. As above, so below. Thank you for allowing me to tap into your energy and to wrap you in this beautiful hug of healing, universally guided. And so it is. I would encourage you to drink a lot of water to flow any of that energy that was released. But Barrett, how was that for you?
Divine.
Right?
Yeah. I could listen to that forever. It was really, really beautiful. I think I'll go and drink some water. I feel thirsty. But funny, on this right-hand side, I had like a heartbeat. It was like boom, 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 just on the right side. Maybe it's just balancing things out because, yeah. I mean, all I feel now, remember where I had the issue, it feels like I can feel the scar that was there before. You know, it's like a bruising.
Yeah.
But it's been quite a bit of a release. That was really...
Yeah, the lower chakras collectively had a lot. There were a few parts that we were removing daggers. So there was abandonment. That was another big one that came in through the heart space. And then when we got to the lower, that for me, the I am presence is pulsates in my chest like an Iron Man light. But my soul, so my soul expression pulsates in the base of my spine. So I feel like it's in the womb area. And I have to do a lot of different stretches on my pillow and on the floor to really open up that hip area and allow my soul expression to speak and to share and to let things go. And that's what I felt in that hug, was the soul just wanting to had a lot to say. So I don't know if that's the same for everyone. That's just how I feel the separation of the spirit from the soul. And one is in the lower heart space and the other one for me is in my hips. So that's what they came out today big time. And I could feel the compression. And there was one point where my whole body was in full alchemy. And two times I was shaking in the heart and then in that those lower vibrations. And that just shows me that it's just really rattling up that area to remove that for the collective. But the Divine Mother today, she was pulling things quicker than I could even release them. So we were in a good space with her. She was taking away from things that we didn't even need to talk about. She was just going to take those, like, you don't need that. You don't need that. And I could feel her love. And I have so much warmth in me right now as we were filled with that rainbow light. And that's what happens every day when you step within the rainbow bridge and you allow the Divine Father and Mother just to use you as a bridge to the beyond, and miracles happen within that bridge. So yeah. Thank you so much for today. This was beautiful.
Thank you so much. And we'll endeavor to catch up in the very, very, very near future. But until then, much love and blessings, and big
thank
kisses.
you.
And just thank you.
Yeah.
And we'll speak soon.
Have a wonderful day, everybody.
And you, everyone.
Bioactivator would like to thank you for your kind support and donations. Through Barrett Tunian's guardianship of this platform, his activation of truth harmonizes, neutralizes, and unblocks the meridians that connect, balance, and purify all that comes in contact. Do no harm is the key that fully opens the heart's voice to be in the union of the I Am presence, and will represent every living organism on the planet whose voice would otherwise not be heard. Remember, The truth will set you free. Do no harm, cause no loss, and do not impose upon the freedom of others. Love, light, and